Yes, indeed. Have you ever noticed how an invoice always seems to look, seems to be more than you expected?
Oh, yeah.
You say, wait a minute, I thought it was going to be $35.
Surprises. Today, Steve Diggs, our resident life skills and money coach, is here with some good ideas on how to avoid the gotchas that cost us more and more money.
Yes.
The gotchas, I guess, is what Brooke was talking about. You get an invoice and, wait a minute, this is more than we expected.
Yeah, you know, Gomer Pyle said it best. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
No kidding. No kidding.
Exactly.
But this can occur just about anywhere in any situation, right?
It really can. You know, last week I went into this is what got me thinking about it. I went in last week to have my oil changed, and they told me it was going to cost, they gave me a price, $35, $40. So I pulled the car in, and by the time they were through with me, they had $320 of extras they wanted me to buy. And what really topped it off.
They wanted you to buy?
Yeah, I mean, engine flushes, everything you can imagine.
Right, okay.
But the thing that really topped it off is they pulled out my air filter and tried to get me to buy a new one. The trouble is I had just bought one. This was brand new. And I asked the fellow, I said, are you serious? He says, yes, you need a new one. And I said, come off of it. And he looked at me and said, well, maybe you don't really need one. And he finally admitted that it was company policy nationwide to pull out everybody's and try to upsell them. The point is they didn't care whether you need one. All they were really interested in was trying to sell you another air filter.
Let me get this straight then. In other words, you go in for something that is advertised at a good, low, competitive price. You're in there for that. Once they get you in there, it doesn't matter if it could be anywhere. Then they try to sell you on something else, and that's where they make their profit.
Your open game.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know, there are about 4 or 5 things that I keep noticing as I do this, and I hear from other people on pretty frequently, that like to, these are places that seem to kind of do this more than other places. Places where we can take our property or we can do business, and we come back feeling like maybe like the piano that's been turned into a harp. You know, we've kind of been, you know, stripped down a little bit more than we meant to be. One of the things that I really encourage people to do is when you take your car in for car work, be careful because, you know, you always get that 3-hour phone call. About 3 hours after you drop the car off to get the alignment or whatever it was that you thought you needed, you get a call where the guy is explaining to you that there are about 6 more things that really need to be done. Sometimes those things don't have to be done. It's probably wise to get at least a second, some second advice on that, especially if you don't know your way around cars. I'm not a technical guy. When I run out of gas, I start thinking about trading, so I have to get help.
But I like the second estimate because so many people grew up with cars and they're fine with it, and they're like, no, I'm good, and they know. The workers know, okay, you know cars, but if not, I like the second estimate because I don't, the air filter one is a good example.
Unless you do business with them on a regular basis and know them well enough.
Well, exactly, but you know, Charlie, even that doesn't help. About a month ago, I took my car into a place where I've gone for years. It's a major dealer here in town. They told me that I needed between $4,000 and $5,000 worth of work on this car.
Wow.
Fortunately, that evening, I was with a friend who's in the car business. I just mentioned it to him. He said, well, Steve, bring it over to me. For $450, he took care of everything. So sometimes even people that you've worked with, they're not being dishonest. They're not lying to you, but their pricing and their structures can really be out of line.
All right, car repair shops, that's one.
You know, another thing that I'm hearing more and more about, of course, are these cruise lines. Lots of people, more people than ever before, are going on cruises these days. And you hear these really great deals. You know, we're going to give you a boat trip, you know, for $6.95 for 3 weeks or something. Of course, not that good, but I mean, you hear these really low ball numbers. But what we don't know about until we get on board frequently are the shore excursions. Those shore excursions are where they really get us. You know, you can easily spend $100, $150, $300 for a little quick shore excursion, and so. Once you get off the boat, there are lots of things to do. Sometimes you can get your own excursions and get them for a third the price that the cruise lines have available.
Oh, my goodness.
Be aware of that.
Oh, interesting. Good points. Retailers, tell us about that.
Retailers, retailers. So many retailers these days are being pressed from all sides. You know, the internet, of course, is selling everything online, so retailers are having to scurry these days to make more profits, especially electronics retailers. That's why when you get to the checkout line, no matter what you have bought, more often than not, they're going to try to sell you a service agreement.
Sure.
A warranty.
You hear that.
Warranty,
Heard that for years
I always
now.
wonder if it's good or not so good.
Well, most experts in the field, and there have been quite a few studies on these, most people agree that in most cases these service warranties really are not a good deal. You know, you've got to kind of weigh it. I personally sometimes get them, but most of the time I stay away from them because that's a good way to end up paying way too much.
I don't know if this is good or not, but we had a TV that went on the blink, and it was about a $500 flat screen TV, and took it in. It was going to take $700 to fix it. And you can buy one new for $500.
Exactly. And then, of
Yes.
course, the problem with the service warranty is you've got the thing somewhere in a drawer and you forgot that you got it and the thing's broken, and so you end up not doing it.
All right.
You know, fourth thing that we run into, those of us who travel, are rental car rip-offs of all kinds. And rip-off may be too strong a word, but remember, when you rent that car, they're going to try to sell you everything else, especially insurance coverage. Check with your own insurance company before you travel. Find out if your coverage doesn't cover all of these same things. Many times you don't need to buy that.
Ordinarily they do, don't
Yes.
Most of the time, at least most of the coverages that you need are there. And another thing that the rental companies are doing more and more of course, are trying to rent us GPS units. And I'll tell you, Bonnie, a few years ago, gave me a gift for Father's Day. I think it was a little GPS unit.
That's all you need to take
I
with you.
travel all the time. I keep it in my suitcase,
blame
and I
you.
save about $15 to $30 a week on that when I
Right.
rent cars.
There you go.
We used to take the rental, and then with experts like you who said, check with your insurance, there's no need. It was doubling up for no reason.
In most cases, it is. Now, sometimes you can make a case for some of their stuff in the event you have some minor issue that comes up, but usually I don't buy it. I just don't believe in it. And number 5, I'll tell you something else that we run into all the time are restaurants. You know, we go into these restaurants and we're eating a meal, and you know, we're having a good time, we're relaxed, and we're spending a lot of money. People can save 20 to 30% on their restaurant tab in a lot of cases if they will skip the dessert and drink water. And again, restaurant friends, I'm not trying to provoke you, but at the same point, you know, that restaurant bill can kind of mount up in a big hurry, and skipping the dessert and drinking water can save us a lot of money.
Almost $3 for Diet Coke at one place.
Sacrifices, yeah, this is a tough
But
life
I
we
get
live
sad
here.
with that Diet Coke. I get in a bad mood, but I know what you're saying.
I've got a Diet Coke in the car. I start my day out with them.
You want to share experiences with this man? You want to share a topic you want this man to discuss? SteveDiggs.com is a good way to get in touch with him or contact us here at the station. We'll get Steve on the case there. These are good ideas. These are good tips.
Good tips.
Especially the travel this time of year.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of things going on. Just don't assume people have our best interest at heart, and also don't assume too much that these people are always experts and that they are the low-cost provider. Just check them out. That's what we need to do.
Exactly.
Steve, see you next time. Thank
See
you
you
there,
then. Bye.
partner. Hey, still to come later.